Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are looking at something that at first glance just looks like, well, like a really beautiful piece of candy.
It really does.
Right. I mean, looking at the photos in the research packet we've got, the stone is pink, it's peachy, it just looks soft.
Soft and very delicate, yeah.
But if you actually read what the sources are saying, this thing is doing some serious heavy lifting.
Yeah.
We aren't just talking about a pretty rock-free shelf here. We are talking about what some practitioners describe as a tool for ascension.
It is a massive claim to start with, isn't it? Ascension.
Yeah.
I mean, that usually implies a complete shift in consciousness, not just, feeling a little better on a Tuesday.
Exactly. And honestly, when I first saw the pictures, I thought, okay, this is going to be another one of those stones for finding a date or...
Feeling warm and fuzzy.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But the literature is surprisingly intense. It talks about heartbreak, grief, really deep trauma processing. We are, of course, talking about pink natrolite.
Pink Natrolite. And before we even get into the heavy metaphysical lifting, I think we have to clear up the name game.
Oh, please do, because it was everywhere.
Right. Because if you were shopping for this right now or scrolling through mineral forums, you might not actually see pink natrolite. You might see pink Larimar.
Yes, I saw that all over the place in the source material. And I know Larimar. That's the blue Caribbean ocean-looking stone everyone loves.
Famous one, yeah.
So when I saw pink Larimar, I just assumed, okay, it's just a color variant. Like how diamonds come in pink or blue. Is that not the case?
You would completely think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It's a very common, very effective marketing trap.
Really?
Yeah, if you buy something labeled pink Larimar, you are almost certainly buying pink Natrolite. But chemically, they aren't even cousins.
Wow.
They're totally different species of mineral.
So it's literally just a trap.
It's a total misnomer. So Larimar is a pectolite. Pink Natrolite is a zeolite. They have completely different chemical structures, different hardness, and they form in totally different environments. Pink Natrolite is primarily coming out of Indonesia.
Why the rebranding then? Just to sell more rocks?
Basically, yes. Larimar has huge name recognition.
Sure.
It sounds exotic. It reminds people of the beach. Pink Natrolite sounds a bit like, I don't know, a chemical compound you'd find in a lab.
Or like a diet soda.
Exactly. But it's really important to make that distinction because their energies and their geological makeups are completely different. We really need to judge this stone on its own merit, not as some knockoff of a blue stone.
Okay, so let's judge it on its merit. We've established it's a zeolite. And I know that word from like water filters and detox supplements. Zeolites are the cleaners of the mineral world, right?
That's a great connection to make, yes.
Yes.
Physically, zeolites are microporous minerals. They have this honeycomb-like structure that makes them incredible at trapping toxins or filtering water.
So does that physical property translate to the metaphysical side, or is that just a happy coincidence?
Well, in the crystal healing world, physical form almost always dictates metaphysical function.
Okay.
So because the stone is a literal physical filter, practitioners view it as an energetic filter.
That makes sense.
It's not just sitting there looking pretty. The belief in the source material is that it's actively scrubbing the environment or the emotional body that it comes into contact with.
Which brings us to this high vibration label. The sources are constantly calling it a high vibration stone, and this is the exact quote, light body activator.
Yeah.
Now, I consider myself fairly open-minded, but light body activator sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi novel.
It does sound a bit Star Trek, doesn't it?
It really does. So help me out here. What does activating a light body actually imply in this context?
Okay, so in the metaphysical models we're looking at, the light body is essentially the non-physical infrastructure of a person.
Okay.
Think of your physical body as the hardware, the computer case, the wires, the motherboard.
Right.
The light body is the software. It's the Wi-Fi signal connecting it to the internet.
I like that. I follow the Wi-Fi analogy. So when the sources say this stone is a light body activator, are they saying it upgrades the software or just boosts the signal?
It's a bit of both, but it's more like waking up the connection. The sources describe it as shifting your operating system from survival mode.
Like just getting through the day.
Exactly. Paying bills, eating lunch, commuting. Shifting from that to a much higher awareness. It's all about integration.
That sounds intense. Is that something you actually feel? Or is it just a nice idea you meditate on and hope for the best?
The practitioners argue you absolutely feel it.
Really?
Yeah, they describe it as a sense of sudden clarity or a quickening of your thoughts. It's not necessarily a relaxing spa-day feeling.
Oh, interesting.
It's an alertness. It's described across the board as waking up to spiritual aspects of who you are.
So it's like a shot of espresso for your soul.
That's a really good way to put it. It's high energy, which is fascinating because when we pivot to the emotional side of pink natrolite, the language changes completely.
Right, it totally flips.
It goes from activating and high vibration to soothing and healing.
Let's get into that emotional side, because you really can't talk about a pink stone without talking about the heart chakra.
You really can't.
That's Crystal 101, right? Pink equals heart.
The color magic aspect is undeniable here. The pink hue is directly linked to the heart chakra in almost every single tradition we looked at. But this isn't necessarily your standard rose quartz energy.
And that was my next question, because rose quartz is the big one. That's the love stone. You buy it to find a boyfriend or to love yourself more. Is pink natrolite doing that same thing?
Not exactly. While rose quartz is often about inviting love, so romance, friendship, warmth pink natrolite is framed much more as a stone for repair.
Repair? Okay.
The sources aren't talking about dating. They're talking about the heavy stuff. Heartbreak, grief, very deep sorrow.
So this is the triage nurse, not the matchmaker.
That is a perfect distinction. It's for processing pain. The literature suggests it's specifically tuned to ease the pain of a broken heart or a really profound loss.
Wow.
It's about finding tranquility when your internal world is just completely chaotic.
I noticed a specific note about empaths in the research too, and I feel like that term gets thrown around a ton on social media right now.
It definitely does.
But for people who genuinely struggle with it, who actually feel other people's emotions as their own physical sensations, it's exhausting.
It is entirely draining.
How does a rock help with that?
Well, if you're an empath, you know that the absolute biggest struggle is boundaries.
Right.
You walk into a room, your friend is sad, and suddenly you are sad. You absorb it completely. The sources suggest that pink natrolite helps empaths balance those frequencies.
So does it block the emotion, like putting up a brick wall?
It's described less like a well and more like a membrane. Or, go back to geology we talked about, a filter.
The zeolite thing.
Exactly. It allows you to develop compassion, which is the core strength of an empath, without getting overwhelmed by the energy you're picking up.
That makes a lot of sense.
It helps you stay in your own lane, emotionally speaking. You can care without crashing.
Caring without crashing. I think a lot of people need that, empath or not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Compassion fatigue is incredibly real. And this stone is positioned as a support system to prevent that specific kind of burnout.
Now, we do have to mention the physical associations, but we always put a huge asterisk here.
Huge asterisk. We're not doctors, and neither are rocks.
Right. Big disclaimer for you listening. These are metaphysical beliefs, not medical advice. If you have a horrible headache, take an aspirin, not a piece of natrolite.
Please do.
But the sources did mention some physical correlations that link back to this idea of soothing, right?
They did. Because of that soothing emotional energy, there's a belief that it directly supports the physical nervous system. You'll see claims in the literature about it clearing the brain, relieving general body pain, or helping specifically with tension headaches. Again, unproven scientifically, but it tracks perfectly with the idea of the stone being an energetic soother.
It makes sense narratively. I mean, if you reduce stress on an energetic level, your shoulders drop, your jaw unclenches.
And magically, your tension headache might go away. It's the psychosomatic loop.
Yeah. I want to circle back to the visual aspect for a minute, though, because we talked about the color, but we didn't really talk about the shape. And you found something really fascinating about the way this crystal actually grows in the earth.
I did, yes. And this is one of my favorite parts of geological symbolism because it's just so incredibly visual. Pink natrolite often grows by expanding outward from a central core.
Like a starburst.
Yes, or think of a firework right after it explodes.
Oh, that's a cool image.
It starts at a tight, dense center point, and then whoosh, it just sprays outward in these fine radiating crystal lines.
A firework is a great visual. It has that energy of, I don't know, release.
Exactly. And that physical habit is exactly where the metaphysical meaning comes from. The sources call it a stone of natural direction.
Natural direction. I like that phrase, but I'm not sure I know what it means practically.
Well, think about how we usually make decisions in life. We overthink.
Oh, constantly.
We hesitate. We weigh the pros and cons until we're totally paralyzed. We are constantly asking ourselves, is this the right path? What if I'm wrong?
Analysis paralysis, I live there.
Most of us do. But this crystal doesn't do that. It doesn't grow 3 millimeters and then stop to ask for directions.
Right.
It just radiates. It trusts completely that the direction it's growing is the right one.
That is actually really profound. So the stone itself is basically a physical diagram of confidence.
It represents trusting your own expansion. The symbolism for you as the user is about trusting your gut.
Yeah.
It's about navigating major life shifts. So
Yeah.
shifts in your career, your relationships, your internal world, with that exact same kind of natural radiating optimism.
So instead of checking the map every 5 seconds, you just drive.
You just drive. And that's why it's so heavily linked to clarity in these texts. It's not just about soothing the emotion of a shift, but having the clarity to see where you're going and the confidence to just go there.
Okay, so we've got the heart chakra, we've got this beautiful personal growth symbolism, but you mentioned earlier that this is a bridge stone. It doesn't just hang out in the heart and stay there.
No, it doesn't. And this brings us right back to that light body concept. The sources are very clear that while it anchors in the heart, it links upward,
Up to the head?
upward and beyond. It connects the heart chakra to the crown, the third eye, and the soul star chakra.
Okay, pause. The soul star chakra, I know the main 7, root at the bottom, crown at the top. I know the crown is the top of the head. Where on earth is the soul star? Is it inside the brain?
It is not in the physical body at all. The soul star is considered a transpersonal chakra.
Transpersonal.
Right. It's visualized as sitting about 6 inches to a foot above your physical head.
Ah, okay, so it's in the halo zone.
Essentially, yes. In these metaphysical traditions, the soul star is your personal connection to the cosmos, to your higher self, to the divine record,
Like the antenna.
the ultimate antenna. It's the dad port for universal wisdom. By linking the heart, which is the seat of human emotion and compassion, all the way up to that soul star, pink natrolite is said to bridge the earthly realm with the spiritual realm.
That is a massive range. You're connecting your messy emotional center to your perfect cosmic center.
It is a massive range. And the function of that bridge is to facilitate communication.
No.
The sources talk extensively about using the stone to connect with spiritual guides or to access higher wisdom.
Right.
It's about taking that very grounded, heart-centered compassion and elevating it to a spiritual level.
And there was a mention of aura cleansing, too, tied into this, right?
Yes. And this goes straight back to the zeolite filter idea. The belief is that this high vibration scrubs the energetic field around you, your aura. It clears out the static.
It's like cleaning the lens on a telescope. You can't see the stars if the glass is dirty.
That is a perfect analogy. Pink natrolite is the lens cleaner. It removes the debris of negative thoughts or old, heavy emotions so you can actually get a clear signal from that soul star chakra.
So we clearly have this powerhouse stone. But one thing I love about these deep dives is seeing how these things play with others. We call them crystal cocktails.
Strategic pairings, my favorite part.
Exactly. Because sometimes one stone is great, but 2 stones are a whole different mood.
Right.
The research highlighted 3 specific pairings for pink natrolite. Let's run through them.
Let's do it.
First up, Larimar and pink natrolite. Now, we already talked about how they're confused for each other constantly, but what happens when you actually use them together on purpose?
This is the deep peace combo. Larimar is heavily associated with the throat chakra. It's cooling, soothing ocean energy. It's literal water energy.
Okay.
Pink natrolite is that high vibration heart energy.
So you're mixing the ocean with the heart.
When you mix them, the sources say you get a profound sense of tranquility. It's for when you just need everything in your life to stop spinning.
I think we all have those days.
Right. It combines intuitive clarity with emotional calm. If you're feeling frantic, or if your mind is racing at 3 a.m., this is the recipe they recommend.
Okay, pairing number 2. Amethyst and pink natrolite. Amethyst is like the denim of the crystal world. It just goes with everything.
It really does. It's the classic intuitive stone. But here, the focus is intuition and nerves. Remember we talked about the nervous system support earlier?
Right, the headache relief and tension dropping.
Exactly. Amethyst is also traditionally used for tension, for headaches, and for promoting sleep. Pairing it with pink natrolite doubles down on that soothing, nervous system calming energy while simultaneously boosting that intuitive signal.
So if you're super stressed out, you have a massive tension headache, but you still need to trust your gut on a big decision, this is the mix.
It's a very functional, very supportive pairing. It's incredibly great for work stress.
Okay, now we get to the heavy hitter, the advanced pairing, moldavite and pink natrolite.
Yes. Proceed with caution on this one.
I really have to pause here because we just spent the last 15 minutes talking about how pink natrolite is soothing, it's gentle, it's safe. and now you want to throw it in a blender with moldavite.
I know, it sounds contradictory.
For you listening who might not know, moldavite has a reputation in the crystal community for literally wrecking people's lives. I mean, in a spiritual growth way, sure, but it's pure chaos.
It is absolute chaos. We literally call it the cosmic 2x4.
Because it hits you over the head.
Exactly.
Mm.
It's impact glass from a meteorite. It has an incredibly intense, rapid, transformational energy. It is not subtle at all. It throws your entire life into the blender just to get you where you need to go.
So is this a safe pairing? Or are we just asking for trouble here? Why on earth would you mix the gentle pink stone with the chaotic space glass?
That's the absolute brilliance of the pairing, actually. You use the pink natrolite as the shock absorber.
Oh, okay.
Imagine you're in a race car. That race car is the moldavite. It's going 200 miles an hour. If you hit a tiny bump, you crash.
Right, it's too rigid.
Pink natrolite acts as the suspension system. It allows you to go that fast, to have that massive, rapid transformation without the emotional whiplash that usually comes with a moldavite awakening.
That makes total sense.
It keeps the heart center open and protected so you don't panic during the massive shift.
It's like adding a steering wheel to a rocket ship.
Exactly. Without the natrolite, the moldavite might just blast you off completely into the void. The natrolite keeps the human heart involved in the trajectory. It perfectly balances the fire of transformation with the water of compassion.
I can definitely see why that's considered advanced. That's not a casual Tuesday afternoon kind of vibe.
No, not at all. That is a very deliberate, I need to change my entire life right this second vibe.
So we've really covered a lot of ground today. We've looked at the science. It's a rare zeolite, primarily from Indonesia. We've looked at the metaphysics, the light body activation, the deep heart healing, the bridge all the way up to the soul star. And we've seen how it strategically plays with others like Larimar and moldavite.
It's a beautifully complex little mineral.
It really is. It seems like pink natrolite has a very specific personality compared to other stones. It's gentle, but it's certainly not weak.
That's the key takeaway for me from all the source material. It's gentle, but it is powerfully effective.
Yeah.
It addresses the most vulnerable parts of us, our grief, our heartbreak, our overwhelming sensitivity, but it doesn't just cobble them.
Right.
It uses those vulnerabilities as a literal launch pad for ascension, for reaching higher.
It's almost like validation that you can be soft and still be growing. Like you can be actively hurting and still be ascending at the exact same time.
Precisely. Because we often think that healing means fixing all the broken parts before we're allowed to move forward.
Right, like I have to be 100% perfectly better before I can start my new life.
But this stone structurally says no to that. Remember, the structure of the stone grows outward.
The firework.
Yes. It doesn't wait to be a perfect solid block before it expands. It carries the core with it as it shoots outward. You can carry your grief and still expand into your light body. You can be deeply sad and deeply spiritual at the exact same time.
That is a really comforting thought. And for you listening, whether you're deep into the metaphysics and, checking your chakras every single morning, or if you're just someone who likes collecting really rare, pretty stones, I think that underlying theme is what really sticks.
It absolutely is. It's about finding practical tools to navigate grief and growth simultaneously. Because in real life, let's be honest, they almost always happen at the exact same time.
They really do. So here is a thought we want to leave you with today as we wrap up. We talked about how the physical structure of pink natrolite symbolizes trusting your natural direction.
Yes, trusting that outward expansion.
And people hold this stone or they sit and meditate with it to help them do exactly that. But it raises a really interesting question. How much of the healing actually comes from the high frequency of the stone, and how much comes from the simple, profound act of you finally giving yourself permission to follow your own path?
That is the ultimate question with all of this. Is the stone the magic, or is the stone just the permission slip you finally wrote for yourself?
Definitely something for you to mull over next time you're feeling stuck. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
See you next time.